The GDEs are there to evangelize people and teach people how to use Google technologies for carrying out their projects or helping their communities. One of the benefits that people talk the most about is being able to travel once a year to the Google I/O. Think you're a GDE before even applying to project. Behave like one.
What is up, guys? Welcome back. Cloud Pilot here, and in today's video we have with us Felipe Lujan, who is a Google developer expert on Google Cloud Platform. Today he is here to share some insights about Google Developer Expert Program, and we'll also be talking about how to get into Google Developer Expert Program and what it really teaches us. So welcome, Felipe, to our channel, and thank you for accepting my invite.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. I started in the IT industry, and that would be like 3 to 4 years ago. I started off as a front-end developer working with CSS, HTML, and JavaScript. I went with React pretty much 100% of the time. That was the technology that I loved and that got me into the company that I work for, which is Globant. But before joining this company, actually, I went into the first company that got me hired was a company called Quemby, and I was a front-end developer there as well. But this company, they were transitioning from software development into consulting. So they got us all certified as Kubernetes administrators. So I was a front-end developer, and they started to introduce me into DevOps and cloud technologies. We did Kubernetes with GCP. So that's how I first got involved into GCP and Google technologies. Then when I joined Globant, also as a front-end developer, I had all of this cloud and DevOps background that I keep on working on. I would just do tutorials, go to quick labs, and then I started to plan a formal transition from front-end development to cloud engineering. So that change happened in October 2020. So I used all of this COVID lockdown and all of this craziness to prepare for this change. I also got certified as a Google, what is the name? Google Cloud Architect, Professional Cloud Architect, and Associate Cloud Engineer for Google Cloud. And that got me as well into the position as a cloud engineer. So that's how I got into what I am today.
How is your job as a cloud engineer?
Usually I would start working at 8 a.m. I have a daily meeting with the developers, architects, and project managers. Then I have like an hour to plan my day, and then I got another daily stand-up with the DevOps team from the client. So we are an offshore contractor, meaning that the company that I work for finds their clients in the US. So we work with those clients directly. So that's why I have two meeting calls. And the DevOps team that I work for is like a 15-person team, and these people are very, very well-trained, seasoned DevOps engineer. Although I am a Google developer expert on Google Cloud, my work is 100% in Microsoft Azure. So now we're moving into this multi-cloud vision or culture. So that's really beneficial to me. And my responsibilities are things like configuring applications for the team that I work for, the team that I am the DevOps for, or fixing the pipelines, sometime following the release schedule. Um, well, it's pretty much a combination between cloud engineering and DevOps. There's a lot of automation involved in Azure DevOps. You know, we rarely have to touch the Azure portal to create new infrastructure manually. It's all automated through Azure portal and PowerShell scripts. So yeah, that's what my work is about.
Amazing. So, how challenging is it to be a cloud engineer?
Well, you have to be prepared for anything that pretty much decides to not work, to break up in the middle of the night, to break during during the day. Software nowadays happens to rot for some reason. It just stops working out of nowhere. So, in comparison to the front end development that I used to do, um, now the cloud engineering job has me in contact with a lot of people. When you are a developer, maybe you have a pair programming, so you're coding along with somebody else. But when you're a cloud engineer or a DevOps engineer, you have to be in contact with a lot of the developers, a lot of the people from the infrastructure team, especially if you're in a big project with standardized guidelines. So yeah, there's a lot of intercommunication. Although you're the only DevOps in the team, doesn't mean that you don't have anyone to work with. You have to work with a lot of people, networking people, architecture, um, project management. You're not allowed to deploy what you want to deploy because you know the solution. There has to be an approval. Always have to be an approval, and well, it's interesting actually to be in contact with so many people. You get involved in very different parts of the project. It's very interesting and I enjoy it a lot.
Cool. That's amazing. So, moving on, what is the Google Developer Expert Program?
Okay, so the Google Developer Export Program, or GDE, is a program put up by Google in which they get together third-party persons or clients, customer, or just tech enthusiasts, and they form a group on a specific technology. So there are Google developer experts, or let's call them influencers. That might be another way to describe the experts. Um, there are experts on Google Cloud or Google Workspace, what used to be Google Suite, um, Google Assistant, Android, Angular, web technologies, wearables. Now, so the GDEs are there to evangelize people and teach people how to use Google technologies for uh, carrying out their projects or helping their communities. Also, many of the GDEs work with um, companies directly. Not that it is a formal job, but it's rather a volunteering program. But sometimes you can help companies that are in the green industry, or companies that are trying to transition to the cloud. So there are a lot of companies and people that you can get involved with being in the GDE program.
What is the eligibility criteria for becoming a GDE?
Well, pretty much the only criteria that you have to meet is that you are already a GDE when you apply to the GDE program. And what that means is that you are a community contributor before being a GDE. It doesn't matter your gender, your region, your skin color, pretty much those things don't matter at all. The only criteria is that you like to work with the communities and that you like that you're pretty much involved with Google technology because it's a Google program at the end of the day. So uh, if you already have published articles or put up videos, talked about Google technologies at some random meetup in your town, you're pretty much in the way to become a GDE.
Right. So what are the process involved in the application?
Okay, so first you get in contact with someone from the GDE program, either it's a regional manager or a GDE, and this person has to um, submit a proposal for you to become a GDE. It's kind of a referral from somebody that is already in the program. Then you fill out a form that asks why do you want to become a GDE? What have you contributed to your local communities? How do you think the GDE program is going to help you? How are you going to change your contributions once you join the GDE program and stuff like that? Pretty much you describe um, why do you want to become a GDE? And this is public information, by the way. And then if the evaluators think you're pretty much what the program needs, they're going to schedule an interview with a third party person that is already in the program. And if you pass that interview, then there's going to be an interview with a Google employee, a Google employee from the technology that you're interested in. So you have to pick one first. So in my case, that was Google Cloud. But as I said already, there's a lot of categories. So you're going to the final step is going to be an interview with someone from that team directly from Google.
All right. What are the advantages of being a Google developer expert?
Okay, so there are a lot. The benefits or perks of being in the program, one of the most famous yeah, one of the benefits that people talk the most about is being able to travel once a year to the Google I/O or one annual meeting for the GDE people from your region. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen right now because of the pandemic. But also, you get invited to meetings or previews or private betas of the category that you're interested in. I cannot talk about the specifics that I have been through because there's an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement that you have to sign before joining the program. But let's leave it at that. You get invited to closed betas and previews of products. Also, you get to know a lot of people from your region that is involved in the same category as you, and even people from other categories. You get to be in contact with the developers from Google directly. Being in the GDE program is pretty much, to me, is almost like having another certification because it's Google themselves telling that, hey, this is a person that is an expert on these technologies, and this is somebody that you can refer to if you have a necessity, if you're having issues with this technology.
Amazing. So that's interesting. And how did you become a GDE?
Actually, I met like 2 or 3 GDEs. One of them was a GDE in Angular, and I met 2 GDEs in web technologies. So I I saw them traveling around, giving talks here in Colombia, in nearby countries like Peru and Argentina and Mexico. And I thought to myself, okay, that's people that has a lot of experience and has a long try, a long way in the community. So I'm not ready for that yet. But I started putting out articles and tutorials and giving talks. And someday one of them asked me, "Hey, why don't you apply to the GDE program?" And actually, this is very common in the program. You get invited to the program before you actually apply to it. So I said, "Oh, sure, why not? I just fill out the form. You have to be very patient because it takes like a month for them to reply, for them to go through every step of the process, and I just follow the process that I just mentioned. So this person referred me, and that's what got it started.
Can you share with us your application process experience?
Fill out the form, put the name of this person as the referrer. Then I put all of my contributions, and by the time I had like 2 or 3 meetups, I didn't have the videos for all of them, just the meetup invitations and the recording for one of those. I had to put like an estimated number of people that I had reached, and it took like maybe a month, 3 weeks to a month for them to reply, and that's how it goes. Just then the interview with the third party, this person, um, actually, I can't go over to the specifics because that's also in the NDA. But at that time, I thought I wasn't going to make it because that person told me like, I'm going to be honest with you, the applicants to the GDE program usually have more contributions than what you already have. But that person saw that I had the the experience. By the way, I was studying for the Google Cloud certifications that time, and he also saw that I had the motivation. So he said to me like, usually people have many more contributions than what you already have, but I like your attitude. I know that they can see that you like it, so I'm going to give a positive uh, impression about you. And then the third interview, which actually one of the interviewers was one of the hosts of the Google Cloud podcast that you can find on Spotify. Um, the questions that he asked were um, open questions, like what you would usually find in one of the certifications. I can't go over to the specifics, but this person just wanted to have a technical conversation with me. So there's only one technical interview. The second interview, that was the third interview. The second interview is 100% about your contributions and how are you positioned in your community.
Got it. So what is your advice to the aspiring GDE applicants?
If you want to get into the GDE program, first be a GDE before applying to the program itself. Uh, the program, you're not going to get a material to put out content about once you join the program. That's 100% on you. So start doing it before you join the program. The program is just going to give you visibility and the recognition, but all the hard work and all the hard skills are on you and should be on you before you join the program. So pick one technology, let's say Google Assistant. If you like wearables and IoT and stuff like that, let's say you wanted to go with Google Assistant, go over to the documentation, learn it, try it, do the examples, do the labs, go to quick labs, find stuff related to Google Assistant, and maybe put out an article or put up a tutorial describing how you understood that process. That would be an interesting contribution. And actually, if you put out a video and an article, that counts as 2 contributions, even though that's the same content. But those are 2 different formats. So that's a valid way to contribute to the program. So go ahead and do stuff like that before joining. And it doesn't really matter if you have a lot of impact, because that's hard to build. Like, I mean, it's hard to build a YouTube channel with a lot of subscribers. But even if you don't have those platforms, go ahead and do it. Even if you are just starting a Medium account, do it. Even if you're just starting a YouTube channel, go ahead and do it. And that's going to get you into the program after some time. I cannot tell you how long would it take, or how many contributions should you have before applying, because it varies from region to region, from each category to category. But just do it. And even if you don't, if you don't make it to the program, you're going to get recognition just by sharing your knowledge. So put out this stuff, put out the contributions. Think you're a GDE before even applying to the program, and behave like one.
Got it. That's amazing. So thank you so much for your time spending with us, sharing your knowledge about GDE program. Any last words?
Thank you, Udes, for having me. Pretty much anyone that wants to join the GDE program, just stalk Udes and see what he does in YouTube and LinkedIn. He shares a lot of his knowledge, and that's what the program wants, and that's what all of this contributing to communities is about. So just do what it does, and you're probably going to end up in the program sometime. And thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope it is informative enough for you to know about GDE program. I hope you find this helpful. So until we see again with another video, it's me, the Cloud Pilot, signing off. Bye.